This is Arsenal's moment.
Talking about recruitments.
Arsenal.
He brought in 7 men. Kepa, Norgard, Zubamendi, Mosquera, Gyökeres, Eze and Madueke. 7 high...
£220 million spent in one summer. Names like Zubamendi, Madueke, Mosquera, Norgard, Kepa and now Piero Hincapié. But in the chaos of the transfer window, 2 names rise above the rest. Eberechi Eze.
Look at this. This is beautiful. This is what kind of football and signing for your boyhood, club is about. He's shaking his head in absolute delight.
Victor Gyökeres.
I mean, it looks like they're going to get their man. It looks like Arsenal fans are going to get what they want, and a striker. A man who can find a net. 54 goals in 52 games. One of the most in-demand players, of course.
The duo that could break the Premier League in half. Eze, the boy who once walked away from Arsenal to grow, has returned in spirit as a monster. 14 goals, 11 assists. A left winger no fullback can contain. He doesn't just play the game, he bends it. He makes defenders dance to his rhythm. And then there's Gyökeres.
On his shoulders from minute 1, right? Because, I mean, his goal output is not normal. Even for players that have been touted as top players in the Primeira Liga in Portugal that have come to the Prem and kind of flopped. Some have, some haven't. But none have been as good as this guy in the Portuguese top flight. So
54 goals in 52 matches last season. A striker who doesn't ask for chances, he manufactures them. 2 games for Arsenal. 2 goals already. The machine is awake. Together they fix everything Arsenal lacked. Left-sided dominance, ruthless finishing, firepower Arteta has been begging for.
I just want to win. I want to win whatever's there. I've said it before, I've had conversations before, I feel like I've got a taste for it now, and to contribute, to give whatever I can to help the team win, I'm on it, man. That's my mentality, and I've seen what it means. I've seen what you can do, not just to your teammates and the staff, but I can see what you can do to people when you win and when you bring that type of joy to a place. So to be part of that, man, that's my aim, man.
They don't just complement each other, they cover each other's flaws, and that makes them unstoppable. This is not just as signings. This is not just improvement. This is the final piece of the puzzle for Mikel Arteta. This is the duo that could finally carry Arsenal to the Premier League title. And if the rest of the league isn't afraid yet, they should be.
Zero hesitation, and that shows the level of determination and how much we want to take this club to a different level.
Victor Gyökeres did not just arrive at Arsenal, he conquered his way here. At Sporting Lisbon, he became a monster. 97 goals in just 2 seasons. Two Primeira Liga titles, 1 Taça de Portugal, and a legacy that turned him into a legend of the Dragões. He didn't just score goals, he dominated the league, 7 Player of the Month awards, 8 Striker of the Month trophies, 2 Golden Boots, a place in the Team of the Year twice, and the crown jewel, Primeira Liga, Player of the Year in 2023-24. But it didn't stop there. Gyökeres went global. He won the IFFHS award for World's Best Goalscorer, finishing 2024 with 62 goals across club and country. The highest total since Robert Lewandowski's historic 69 with Bayern Munich and Poland in 2021. He was ruthless in Europe too, destroying Manchester City in the Champions League with the kind of cold finishing that turns defenders into statues.
It's time, Gyökeres through on goal again!
He then led Sweden in the UEFA Nations League, finishing as the tournament's top scorer with 9 goals. That is the calibre of striker Arsenal signed. Not just a forward, not just a goal scorer, but a weapon, a predator who terrifies centre-backs before the ball even reaches him. Now he wears red and white. Now he hunts in the Premier League. And every defender in England knows if Gyökeres gets a chance, it's already too late. And now we need to talk about Eberechi Eze, from Crystal Palace's king to Arsenal's crown jewel. Eberechi Eze didn't just shine in South London, he rewrote the history of the club. The winger who delivered Palace their first ever trophies. And not against weak opposition, but against giants. First, Manchester City. Eze tore them apart at Wembley, scoring the decisive goal to lift the FA Cup, Palace's first in their history. Then came Liverpool, fresh from their billion-pound rebuild. He silenced them too, leading Palace to Community Shield glory.
This time!
And this was not a one-off. His numbers prove he is no ordinary winger. Last season, no attacker in the Premier League won back possession in midfield and in the defensive third more often than Eze. A relentless presser, a fighter who defends like a midfielder and attacks like a superstar.
Delighted to have him. The talent is unquestionable. He's done it in this league. The personality, unbelievable. I've been very, very, not surprised, but I would say gladly witnessing everything that he's about.
But when it mattered most, he brought goals. 6 games to close the season, 6 goals. A run of form that made him unplayable. Add to that his iconic strikes against Liverpool and Manchester City, and you have a player who doesn't just show up, he changes history. Even at the start of this new campaign, he is unstoppable. He scored against Chelsea, only for VAR to cruelly rule it out. But the message was clear. Eze is red hot and he is not slowing down. Now, the boy who Arsenal once let go has come home transformed, from Palace's talisman to Arsenal's weapon. For years, Arsenal fans cried out for a true goal scorer, a striker whose instinct was to live inside the penalty area, not drift away from it.
I think we need a striker. I want a different type of striker.
Yeah.
Victor Gyökeres has arrived to fill that void, but the challenge was clear from day one. How do you integrate a pure finisher into a system built on fluidity and rotations? The answer came quickly, in the form of a run that has defined his career. Against Leeds, the Emirates finally saw the move sporting fans knew all too well. A ball played early, space to attack, and Gyökeres exploding into the channel. Riccardo Calafiori spotted it, releasing a perfect pass behind the defence. The Swede needed no second invitation. He powered into the left flank, shrugged off his marker and cut inside. From there, the outcome was inevitable. One touch, one strike, and then the mask celebration. The Emirates roared because they had seen it, his signature. This is the Gyökeres blueprint, sprinting into wide channels, especially the left, where his pace and brute strength make him unstoppable. It's a move that stretches backlines, forces centre-backs into one-on-one duels they rarely win, and often ends with him cutting onto his right foot to hammer home at the near post. It's a pattern that repeats across his career. They all carry the same DNA. Gyökeres pulling wide, isolating a defender, and breaking through with a finish that feels inevitable. And here's the key. This isn't just a personal trademark. It fixes a flaw in Arsenal's attack. Last season, almost every transition ran through Bukayo Saka and the right side, making them predictable. With Gyökeres, the left channel suddenly becomes just as dangerous. Defenders can no longer overload Saka without leaving themselves wide open to Arsenal's new weapon. The stats already prove his impact. No player in the Premier League has made more runs behind the defensive line this season, 27 in total. One brought his first Arsenal goal, and many more will follow. Gyökeres doesn't just score. He stretches the pitch, creates an outlet when under pressure, and provides the kind of vertical threat that Arsenal lacked. He is not simply another forward in Arteta's system. He is the balance Arsenal were missing. Victor Gyökeres is not just strong, he's not just clinical, he is relentless. Last season alone, he made 85 sprints in behind the defensive line, each one clocked at over 25 kilometers per hour. To put that in perspective, that's 24 more than Nicholas Jackson, the Premier League leader in that category, during 2024/25. Numbers that scream obsession, numbers that show how he lives to break lines. The big question was always, can this work in Arsenal's system? At Sporting, Gyökeres thrived in leagues where defences left space in behind, but at Arsenal, most opponents sit deep, stacking bodies in front of goal, forcing Mikel Arteta's team to break them down with patience. Could a runner like Gyökeres survive in such a cage? It's too early for absolute answers. But even now, there are signs of how Arsenal will use him. Gabriel Martinelli occasionally attacks that inside channel, but more often than not, Kai Havertz drops short, linking play. Gyökeres does the opposite, always searching, always darting. It's a different movement profile, and Arsenal are still learning how to read him. Arteta himself admitted it. We need to make an effort to understand him, to connect. Because the truth is brutal. Most of Gyökeres' runs so far have been ignored. The striker has often been left isolated. One of the most cut-off players in the league. When he does get the ball, that connection between him and the midfield must evolve. But Arteta isn't worried. Behind the scenes, they've been drilling it in training. We've done a lot of work this week. He is very smart, very intuitive. I'm sure he is going to be fine. And here's where the story gets interesting. Because the solution to this problem isn't just about Gyökeres learning Arsenal. It's also about Arsenal giving Gyökeres the partner he needs. And that's where Eberechi Eze enters the picture.
This is great feet. It's a great ball through as well. Major chance here for Crystal Palace.
The winger who presses, recovers, creates and thrives in tight spaces. The man who can link midfield to attack and make Gyökeres' runs matter. This duo isn't just two signings. It's the key to unlocking Arsenal's next evolution. So why did Arsenal sign Eberechi Eze? The simple answer could be Kai Havertz's injury. The German will miss time, and Arsenal needed depth. But the truth goes much deeper. Eze is not just a replacement, he is the missing link. At Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner, he played as a left-leaning number 10 in a 3-4-2-1, drifting between midfield and attack, carrying the ball, creating chaos, and scoring goals. In Mikel Arteta's 4-3-3, that role translates almost perfectly into the left-sided Numa 10, the zone Havertz was meant to dominate. The zone Arsenal have struggled to unlock.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're just, we're stuck on the left here, to be honest. But
look at the heat maps. Eze's territory at Palace overlaps almost identically with Declan Rice's at Arsenal. But here's the difference: Rice controls, Eze attacks. One shields, the other strikes. Together they balance the midfield like two halves of a blade. And then comes the synergy with Victor Gyökeres. Because what Gyökeres needs most is service in motion, not static passes. He thrives when someone sees his runs early, feeds him between defenders, or drags markers away so he can burst into space. That's exactly what Eze does.
It's a lovely long ball over the top as well, and Ryan's got to backpedal quickly, and Ketia! Deveni! It's worn to Eze on the edge of the penalty area, through a crowd and in quite magnificently. What a well-worked set piece that is. Eberechi Eze getting Palace back on level terms.
He can play as a false nine if needed. He can drift wide as a winger, but his deadliest role is floating behind the striker, linking midfield to attack. His ability to receive under pressure, turn and drive into gaps forces defenders to break shape. And when they do, Gyökeres is the one waiting to exploit the opening. Arteta himself hinted at this connection after the Bilbao friendly. When both Havertz and Gyökeres scored, they can play together, or Kai can play in different positions. But the subtext is clear. With Eze, Arsenal finally have the profile to both protect their midfield balance and supercharge their attack. In other words, Eze doesn't just replace Havertz, he enhances Gyökeres. He gives Arsenal a second creative axis, a player who presses like a midfielder but scores like a forward. Arsenal's biggest flaw last season wasn't just a lack of a killer number 9, it was creativity. Too often the team froze when faced with a deep block, relying almost entirely on Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. The result? Just 69 league goals, a tally 17 fewer than champions Liverpool. Eberechi Eze changes that equation. He doesn't just add goals, he adds danger. He adds audacity. Look at the numbers from last season at Crystal Palace. 16 goals plus assists level with Saka, Arsenal's top contributor. 10.5 expected goals higher than any Arsenal player, even Havertz. 100 shots taken more than anyone in Arteta's squad, and not just volume for volume's sake, but shots from positions that forced goalkeepers into saves. Creativity, Eze crafted 58 chances, just behind Odegaard's 63, and delivered 11 through balls, second only to the Norwegian maestro. And here's the big one: 138 dribbles completed, obliterating Martinelli's 109. Eze isn't just about safe passing. He breaks lines by running at defenders, twisting through tight spaces, forcing chaos where Arsenal were once predictable. He is direct, fearless, and quick to act. He takes the riskier shot, the braver pass. And that's precisely what Arsenal missed when facing stubborn defences. Think back to the 0-0 draw with Everton last December. Arsenal had 77% possession, yet produced just 2 shots worth more than 0.1 expected goals. Merino, the stand-in left number 8, touched the ball fewer times than any outfield player. No penetration, no spark. Eze fixes that problem. He thrives in games like these. He would demand the ball, dribble straight at defenders, pull them out of shape, and either unleash a shot or feed a runner like Gyökeres. He created 40 chances from ball carries last season, 25 shooting himself and 15 setting up teammates. No one in Arsenal's squad came close. This isn't just an upgrade, it's transformation. Eze brings the unpredictability Arsenal lacked. He makes low blocks dangerous to sit in, and with him feeding Gyökeres, Saka and Martinelli, Arsenal now have the variety to suffocate any defence in England. Football in the Premier League is evolving. More and more goals now come from transitions.
Some space, just effortlessly gliding forward here. Eberechi Eze!
Those quick, ruthless attacks that happen the moment possession is turned over. The era of slow, endless recycling's giving way to speed, chaos and verticality. And this is where Eberechi Eze shines. Few players in the league are better at seizing the initiative in those moments, gliding past challenges, carrying the ball through thirds, and forcing opponents onto the back foot before they can even breathe. In fact, maybe we should stop seeing Eze purely as a weapon to crack a deep block. Instead, his biggest gift to Arsenal might be preventing those deep blocks from forming in the first place. With him centrally, in the left number 8 role, Arsenal can attack directly in transition rather than handing the ball back and allowing opponents to retreat into their bunkers. It's dynamism Arsenal didn't have before. Rice provides control, Eze provides electricity, and when that balance exists, defences have no time to settle. But even when teams do drop deep, Eze adds variety Arsenal have been missing. Last season, 44% of their attacks came down the right side, with Odegaard and Saka repeatedly overloaded. It worked, but it also made Arsenal predictable. Eze, combined with Victor Gyökeres, tips the scales back. Suddenly the left is just as dangerous and Arsenal become far less one-dimensional. Imagine a midfield of Odegaard and Eze together as dual number 8s. Two vertical playmakers pushing the game forward, stretching opponents, freeing up Saka on the right and opening lanes for Gyökeres in behind. That's not just balance, that's menace. And the beauty is versatility. Eze can be deployed wide on the left, cutting inside as an upgrade on what Trossard brings. Or he can even operate as a false 9 in games where Arteta wants more technical combination play instead of Gyökeres' constant runs in behind. Each role unlocks a different version of Arsenal. Each role gives Arteta a style he didn't have before. Did Arsenal need Eze? Maybe not in a strict sense, but make no mistake, his arrival doesn't just add depth. It pushes the ceiling higher. It gives Arsenal unpredictability. It gives them a weapon for every scenario, and that is how titles are won. Arsenal didn't chase Eberechi Eze just because of his flair or dribbling. They chased him because he is a man for the moments that matter most. In the 2024-25 season, the 27-year-old scored 14 goals and delivered 12 assists across all competitions for Crystal Palace. Numbers that already shine on their own, but when you look at when those goals came, the value becomes priceless. Eze struck twice against Manchester City, including the winning goal in the FA Cup final, lifting Palace to their first ever major trophy against the most dominant team of the era. When the stage was brightest, he didn't hide, he conquered. He produced a stunning double against Tottenham at their own stadium, silencing North London with a performance that will be remembered for years.
And Munoz is in, and Eze!
He found the net at the Emirates against Arsenal themselves, proving he could rise even against his future club. And it didn't stop there. He scored against Chelsea, against Nottingham Forest,
And Eze scored!
against Aston Villa,
Fancying this. Eze!
again and again in the matches where every detail mattered. Eze left his mark. This is not a player who racks up numbers in meaningless fixtures. This is a player who changes history when the pressure is suffocating and the lights are brightest. It's why Arsenal wanted him, because when the title race comes down to one goal, one moment, one flash of genius, Eze has already proven he can deliver. Eberechi Eze is not tied to a single zone of the pitch. He thrives on freedom, floating into different spaces across the final third to confuse defenders and break structures. His 2024/25 heat map makes this obvious. Heavy activity down the left wing, but also constant drifting inside, cutting diagonally into central pockets and launching attacks from unexpected areas. That mobility isn't random, it's calculated chaos, designed to pull markers out of position and open gaps for others. This versatility is what makes him such a natural partner for Victor Gyökeres. Let's break down Gyökeres' trademark movement with two key moments. First, his goal against Leeds. At first glance, it looks like Riccardo Calafiori played a hopeful ball over the top. But rewind the play. Gabriel receives possession. Declan Rice initially darts forward into the left channel, dragging Joe Rodon with him. Gabriel then slides the ball into Noni Madueke, forcing Jayden Bogle to push up and press. That leaves Pascal Struijk completely isolated with Gyökeres. Calafiori, rolling into an inverted position, now has the perfect lane to clip a pass in behind. Gyökeres accelerates, storms into that left corridor, cuts inside and buries the finish with ice-cold precision before unveiling his iconic mask celebration at the Emirates. That wasn't luck, it was classic Gyökeres. Now go back 1 week earlier to the 1-0 away win at Old Trafford. United lose possession high, and before Odegaard has even shaped to release the ball, Gyökeres is already sprinting into his favourite channel, the left inside run, past Lenny Yoro, directly towards goal. This time, fortune betrayed him as he stumbled on the ball, but the intent was there. It showed exactly what makes him lethal: anticipation, acceleration, and the instinct to punish any defensive lapse in transition. This left corridor is Gyökeres' kingdom. At Sporting, he scored dozens of goals from these very movements, running into space, squaring up a centre-back, cutting onto his right foot, and finishing at the near post. Sometimes he switches it up, driving across the keeper into the far corner. Either way, it's devastating. And this is where Eze changes everything for Arsenal. Because while Gyökeres provides the runs, Eze provides the chaos that makes them unstoppable. When Eze drifts left, he attracts 2 or even 3 defenders. He loves to carry the ball, weave past pressure, and force opponents into uncomfortable decisions. As a result, defenders vacate their positions, leaving Gyökeres in 1-versus-1 situations rather than being crowded out. For a striker with his physical attributes and killer instinct, that is a nightmare scenario for any defence. It's also fixing a structural weakness Arsenal had last season. Only 32.9% of their attacking touches came in the left third, the lowest figure in the entire Premier League. Their game was predictable, funneling through Saka and Odegaard on the right, with Martinelli sometimes providing balance, but never enough to stretch teams consistently. With Eze and Gyökeres, that imbalance is gone. The left flank is no longer quiet. It's alive, dangerous and decisive. Against Leeds, it was Calafiori's pass that unlocked the run. But make no mistake, the groundwork was laid by the combination of Eze's chaos and Rice's decoy movements. Gyökeres only needs one opening, one sprint, one duel. And now with Eze in the same half space, that opportunity will appear again and again. Together they are not just balancing Arsenal's attack, they are reinventing it.